Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 32 of the Dear Herbalist podcast titled, They're Just Not Ready. Accept It. In this podcast, we are going to talk about our clients that are in this category, that are not ready to embark upon their own healing journey, and what herbalists can do about it, as well as how to identify those that are not ready to embark on their own healing journey. Now, anyone who has been sick knows that healing is, in fact, a journey as well as a process. It does not happen overnight. We as herbalists are charged with the responsibility to facilitate healing with our clients or family, whoever we're taking care of, so that they can have someone that's walking along that process with them. Okay. Now, this may seem like a lot, especially if you have a ton of clients that might be resistant to change, but I want you to know and understand as fellow herbalists that it is absolutely okay to release them until they are ready, because trying to force a protocol upon someone, that either simply does not want to do it or they're just not ready to do it is counterproductive. I have encountered people that I have known are simply not ready to do what it takes to be well. And trust me, this type of client is frustrating. Just trying to keep it real. They are frustrating. And as herbalists, we know what herbs can do. We understand the power of human will and belief and the role that they play in the healing process. But the key is to get our clients to understand this, right? So there's a fine line between helping our clients and enabling them. We have to make sure that we assess their ability and want to be an active participant in their healing process, because we simply can't do it for them, nor should we try. Now, I know it can be frustrating, but just remember, focus on the ones that are ready and willing to be a part of their own healing journey. I cannot say that enough, right? And in order to do this, do as many assessments as you need to up front in order to know if this person actually really truly wants to be helped, can be helped, or is even willing to do what it takes to be better and to be healed and whole. Now, of course, if the answer is no, then simply give them some educational materials and ask them to return when they are ready, right? You don't want to just ditch people and drop them off and like, oh, well, you're not ready, get out of my face or my office. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be those type of people, right? So let's look at some characteristics of people who are just simply not ready to be a part of their own healing journey. And again, it's important to kind of look at these characteristics in the beginning phases before you get too deep with the client, so that like, this person, I know I'm going to invest 100%, they're going to invest 100%. Not I'm going to invest 100%, they're going to give 20%. I mean, they're the one that needs the help. You know what I mean? So let's look at some of the characteristics of those that are just simply not ready. Number one, resistance. Okay? They show resistance or reluctance to discuss or even consider the idea of change. Now, typically, these type of clients, they may not directly come to you and ask you for help. Usually you hear about an illness or an ailment and you're like, hey, I know this herb that can do that. Or, somebody in your family fell ill and you're like, hey, I know that there's a protocol that they can use for this and this and this. And they show resistance like, no, I don't want to really get involved with any of that. Right? So resistance. Another characteristic is a fear of the unknown. So they may express to you fear or anxiety, about their life, their health, and all that might be required of them to actually make that change. Okay. Another characteristic is making excuses. So they'll frequently make excuses to justify staying in their current situation rather than exploring alternatives. So if you have someone that is involved and invested in an active protocol, oftentimes you're like, hey, did you follow this step or follow that step? And maybe they jumped off the bandwagon, and rather than accepting accountability and responsibility for their choices, which can lead to setbacks, they're just make 1,001 excuses. Okay. Another characteristic is avoidance. So they avoid taking any action or making any decisions that could lead to change. Now, it's one thing if they don't know, and that's the reason why they're not really making decisions, because they just don't have enough information. But avoidance is you've been given all the information, you've been given all the tools, and you just don't want to take any action. You don't want to make any type of decisions for whatever reason. All right. Another one is denial. So they may deny or minimize the problem, or if there's some sort of dissatisfaction that they may be experiencing in their own life. Another characteristic is lack of vision. So they'll struggle to envision, them being well, them being better. They don't have any set clear goals on what they want their health to look like or how they can better themselves. So they lack vision in that area. Another one is comfort zone. So they prefer to stay within their comfort zone, even if that means sacrificing their own growth, healing, wellness, and happiness. Another characteristic is external blame. So they'll blame external factors or other people for their current situation rather than taking responsibility for their own choices and actions. And I've said this time and time again, dis-ease, okay, which is a lack of ease, right? That's why I always break those words up so people can understand them. Dis-ease does not just happen out of thin air, all right? It does not. It does not occur something that has happened to you. It is something that happens within you as a result of your actions, and thus it has created imbalances in the body. All right? And so a lot of people, they don't want to take on that responsibility. They want to say, no, it's not how I'm eating, it's not how I'm thinking, it's not how I'm living. It's that external dis-ease that grabbed me out of nowhere. All right, so external blame. Another characteristic is a negative attitude. So they have a consistently negative attitude or outlook towards any change or even the possibility of getting well. All right. Scriptures say in Proverbs 18:21 that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Okay? And so that is important to know. What you say will be. That's how strong and how powerful your words are. So if you have someone that has a negative attitude and nothing seems to ever work, right? You kind of probably want to put that client to the side, give them some time to kind of digest and unpack some things so that they can come back when they're ready. All right. And the last characteristic is indecision. So they may struggle to even make a decision or even commit to a course of action. And this can lead to stagnation and inaction. So you may have educated them and given them all the information. Hopefully you have, because that's very important. Give them all the information that they need to make an informed decision, to be able to go and research it themselves. I mean, they just have it all. And they're still like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I want to go that far. I don't know if I want to subscribe to that protocol. You know what I mean? They're just indecisive. And so again, you probably have to speak to them a little bit longer, try to unpack some things a little bit more with them. But if they're struggling to make decisions or even committing to a course of action, then they need some time to kind of, again, want to make a decision, even if they have all the information in front of them, let them sit with it for a while. Let them digest it a little bit. And then say, hey, when you've done that, you've made your decisions, then go ahead and come on back. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, but don't do the mental gymnastics. Don't do the juggling. Don't get caught in the trap of repeating yourself over and over again. That's why I'm a strong believer of written materials, because you want to make sure here's a pamphlet, here's some information, or here I've written it down. And some will say, well, you can write it down. They still ain't going to read it. That's fine, but at least I gave you the information. Okay, so what can herbalists do with these types of clients? Now, notice, like I said before, I did not just say turn them away, because oftentimes people do need time to digest what you are saying or recommending. So just give them some tangible information. Let them take some time, sit with it a little bit. If they are serious and not just looking for a quick fix or a magic potion, they will return. All right. Oftentimes, I know you guys out there, other herbalists out there, are running into clients that just want a quick fix. And there is not one. you know, there is no quick fix. But there are a lot of people that don't want to take responsibility for their actions, and they don't want to do the work. They just want to take this one herb that's going to get them right, and they can get back to their cigarettes, their alcohol, their toxic living, thinking, and everything else, and everything is fine. But that's not how that works. And so coming out the gate as an herbalist, even as a new herbalist, be honest and upfront with your clients. Don't worry about their feelings as far as if they like what you're saying. Be straight up with them, because they may not like it. It may be bitter as they swallow it, but trust me, they will see the effects of it once they, see what you're talking about. Rather than lying to them, placating to them, or saying, oh no, you can have a little treat on this protocol, and you know that you're not supposed to, right? Especially, let's say, if you're a cancer patient. Well, you can have a little bit of sugar, right? And then something happens or exacerbates, and then now it's your fault. So be 100% straight up with the clients from the jump, no matter what type of client they are, but especially if they are a difficult client. Be upfront with them 100%, because trust me, it will come back on you. Your words will come back on you if you do not say something accurately or something goes wrong as a result of what you say. Okay? Now, in the meantime, okay, because sometimes it may seem like there's just 100 people that are just indecisive. They just want a quick fix. They don't want to do the work, and they just want to keep blowing your phone up every 5 seconds with a problem or issue. They want to talk about it for hours. They really don't want to do anything about it. They just want to be heard. And you're just kind of like, What I say to you is, in the meantime, okay, focus your energies on the clients that are hungry to hear what you have to say, and they are willing to make the necessary investment in their own health because it's necessary. Now, as an herbalist, let me give you 10 additional things that you can do to support individuals who are not ready to do what it takes to facilitate or to bring about a state of healing in their body. All right. Number one, listen empathetically. So provide a safe and non-judgmental space for them to express their thoughts, their feelings, and concerns without feeling pressured to change. Now, there are some professions where they use fear-based methods in order to get people to jump and make decisions. That is not our profession. That is not our field. We don't want to pressure people into change because, again, we know as herbalists, it's your 3 parts: spirit, soul, and body, right? And if your spirit is vexed or your soul is vexed because you feel forced into something, your body is going north, your mind is going south. That is a no-no. So we don't want to make them feel pressured even if they're just unsure. It's okay. It's okay. The other thing is explore their ambivalence. So help them to explore their mixed feelings about change and validate their conflicting emotions. Oftentimes, change is difficult. Even in our own lives, if we're honest with ourselves, when we have to make the necessary changes to be a better version of ourselves, it's not easy. So if it's not easy for us, and we have hiccups, detours, setbacks, get backs, and everything else, why would we expect perfection from our clients? All right? So it's okay to be conflicted. It's okay to feel like, you're confused. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I should do this. It's okay. So validate those conflicting emotions so that they understand they're human. Not that they're someone that is a failure or just a terrible person because they don't have restraint or they don't have discipline. Those things are learned. All right. Another thing is build rapport. Now, you should be doing this with all of your clients regardless from the jump. You want to establish a trusting and supportive relationship to create a foundation for future discussions about change. You are going to be having clients that sit in front of you that talk to you about a myriad of issues. It's not just going to be about the bump that they have on their eye, okay, or, they got gout in the foot. Once they feel like they can trust you, They're going to talk to you about everything. Their divorce, just a myriad of different topics, okay? Their boss that they can't stand, their wayward children, whatever the case may be, they're going to talk to you. So build that rapport early so that they know that they can trust you, that they're supported by you, and that, you got their back in this situation. Another thing is encourage self-reflection. So ask open-ended questions that encourage them to reflect on their current situation, as well as what their values are and what their goals are. Don't assume that just because, they don't know or they're confused that they may not have goals. They probably do. They probably have a version of themselves that they would like to see. They just don't know how to get there. All right. So encourage them, through open-ended questions to reflect, have some self-reflection. All right. Another thing is identify strengths. So help them to recognize their strengths and resources that can support them in making a change when they're ready. So do you have a senior citizen in front of you that has a supportive, daughter or son? That is a strength. Did they come to their appointment on time? Did they write down, in their food diary this week? Did they write down everything that they were eating? Right? So help them recognize their strengths. Are they able to say, okay, I'm not going to do sugar. I'm not going to eat any type of sugars. I'll do these things. That is a strength because they have discipline in that particular area. So help them recognize what their strengths are as well as their resources. And this will support them in making the change when they are actually ready. Another thing, and I've said this over and over again, but I'll say it again because it's in my notes. Provide information. All right. Offer objective information and resources about the benefits and potential outcomes of the change that they are about to embark upon without pushing them to take action. All right. We provide both sides of the coin and we put it in their lap. You make the decision. If you take this protocol, this is what's going to happen. These are the side effects of it, or these are the potential impacts of it, and these are the benefits of it, however you want to look at it or even word it. But give them all the information objectively, not with your own personal biases or any of that in there. Just this is the straight information, all of it, all sides of the coin. Now you make your decision on what you want to do. Another thing is normalize their resistance to change. All right. Again, it's all about not making them feel like an alien. It's normal for people to resist. If somebody has been smoking for 25 years, they end up getting diagnosed with COPD and they come into your office and you're like, first thing you need to do is just quit. Stop smoking. The first thing that's going to happen is, well, I'm going to try, it's going to happen. There's going to be some resistance there, but it's a part of the change process. There is going to be a little bit of resistance, but as they start to work the process and they slowly start to cut down, eventually till they're not smoking anymore at all, they'll start to see the health benefits and all of that. So just normalize it. It's a part of it. Understand and accept that people are going to be like, no, I'm not doing any of that. All of that's ridiculous. All I came in here was just to lose 500 pounds. I was not trying to come in here for you to say that I can't have my donuts, my ho-hos, my cakes, pies, none of that. I just wanted which herb can cause my belly to shrink down to nothing. Okay, you may get those people, trust me. Also, discuss the pros and cons. So help them weigh the pros and cons of the various protocols that you might be recommending. All right, so that they can understand the decisions that they are making or even that they need to make. Okay? Now, offer supportive strategies. That's the next one. Suggest coping strategies and skills to help them manage any challenges or discomfort that they can experience while contemplating change. Offer resources, again, coping strategies, as well as encouragement. All right, so if you have somebody that may be an emotional eater, offer some different resources, some different options or strategies that they can do. Okay, when you're feeling emotional, let's say rather than going to the refrigerator, let's go to do some art. Or do you like to dance? Or do you like to sing? Let's shift how we deal with our emotional eating when our emotions are high. Can you journal about it rather than going to eat? Okay? So offer some supportive strategies to kind of help them, as well as resources if you have some in your area that can address that particular issue that person might be dealing with. Okay? Another one is respect autonomy. This one is a big one. All right? Respect their autonomy and right to make their own decisions about when and how to pursue change, even if that means that they may still remain sick. Yes, I said that. Now, I know that may be a hard pill to swallow, because especially if it's our loved ones, we don't want them to remain sick, right? We want them to be well. We want them around, all of these things. But we have to respect people's right to make their own decisions. And that decision even includes the right not to do anything about it. And that's hard. I'm not saying that that's easy at all, especially if you are connected to the person that you are trying to help. They could be either sleeping in your bed, they could have birthed you out of their womb, they could, they could be anyone. But you have to respect that. And I know that's rough, but you just got to do it. All right. Another thing is practice, as the herbalist, practice self-awareness. So recognize and acknowledge your own feelings of frustration without judgment. Understand that it is natural to feel frustrated. It really is. So don't try to play it off or blow it off like it's nothing. It's natural to feel frustrated with your clients. To just want to just throw it all up in the air and be like, you know what, screw it. Walk away, I'm walking away. It's natural. So don't try to tuck that under the rug or stuff your feelings in and you're like, oh, that's not professional. I mean, if your action is negatively impacting someone else's life, then of course it is. But if you're in your closet tearing up toilet paper because you're mad, hey, however you got to do it to make sure that you're okay, so that when you step back in front of your client, you're not ready to strangle them. Just be okay. All right? Practice self-awareness. That is going to be key, because there are going to be people that step on your last nerve. All right? There are going to be people that test your gangster. Trust me. And it is sometimes, if we want to step outside the realm of clients, sometimes it's just people in general, other practitioners. All right? So we have to practice self-awareness and make sure that we do everything we can. If we know we're getting frustrated, how are we going to deal with that? If a client makes us angry, how are we going to deal with that? If an associate or someone makes us angry, how are we going to handle that? Because we shouldn't let anyone knock us off our block. All right? Another thing that you can do as an herbalist is adjust your expectations. So accept that change takes time and not all clients will progress at the same pace. So when you're doing your herbal protocols, you want to make sure that they are specific to that individual and their specific needs. So let's say you have a client who has diabetes, right? And you have a specific protocol that you have created to address diabetes, right? But understand that that protocol may work one way for this particular client and differently for another particular client. And that's because it's all chemistry, darling. Their body chemistry and what's going on in their body, the imbalances in their body are completely different than the other persons that you might deal with. So make sure that you adjust your expectations so that you know that, okay, my clients, even if they're on the exact same protocol, change will happen at a different pace. And that's okay. If you set that as your expectations early on, then you won't be disappointed down the line when you seemingly have a client where it's like, we've been going at this for months. And when I was with client A, we were only, 6 weeks. She was cleared, good, and ready to go. Well, everyone is different. All right? So adjust your expectations. Another thing is focus on relationship. So strengthen the relationship, by exhibiting that you care, that you're respectful, that you understand. Because a strong bond will increase the likelihood that your client will listen to you. will follow the protocols, will trust that you have their best interests at heart. Anything outside of that, they're just like, good. No, thank you. Another thing you want to do is set boundaries. So you want to establish as an herbalist clear boundaries to prevent burnout and maintain your own well-being. And know when it's necessary to refer the client to another herbalist or another practitioner. That is very important. We are not the Christ. We are not the end-all be-all for people, nor should we want to be. And there are going to be some people that you just cannot help. There are going to be some people that will try to plug up to you and drain you dry for whatever reason. And so you have to establish boundaries so that you don't get burnt out. So make your assessments, like I said before in the beginning. Is this person or persons the type of clients that I need, that I can help? Okay? Because it's one thing to be exhausted because you're helping so many people and you're being effective. It's another thing to be exhausted and burn out from people that are just wasting your time. Some of them call them hypochondriacs. They're just, they're mentally, there's nothing wrong with them, but there's just like mentally they feel like something is wrong. Or they benefit from being sick. So they don't really want your advice on how to get well because they like being sick, but they kind of do want to be well on one hand. So you're like double dutching with them. So set boundaries. All right. And just know when it's okay to move on. Let them know why you're referring them on. Keep the communication very clear and open. Don't try to hide anything. Don't try to put butter on the toast. Just keep it straight. Keep it 100 with them. Document it in their file and keep it moving. All right. Now, last but not least, I'm going to merge these two together. Practice self-care and stay positive and flexible. All right. If you can maintain a positive outlook and stay flexible in how you're approaching your clients, you will be much better off. Celebrate even the small victories. If you're able to get grandma off of sugar and now she's doing honey and other alternatives, celebrate that victory. If you have one client that's looking to lose weight and they drop 5 pounds, celebrate those victories. Celebrate them like they done lost the 100-pound goal that they had. And I promise you will be in a better spirit and a better frame of mind to be able to help them moving forward. And you'll feel good inside because it always feels good when you're helping people, right? That's how I feel. I feel good when I'm able to help someone. All right. Now, let's look really quickly. I didn't intend for this podcast to be this long, but you know what? This is an important topic. Let's look really quickly at the signs of clients that are ready for change. All right. Number one is that they are feeling dissatisfied. Now, these clients I call the sick and tired of being sick and tired clients. Because in order for you to really want to change or know that somebody wants to change is because they have gotten to the end of their rope. They're tired of the excuses and they are sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's a different type of motivation with that type of client. There's a different drive. There's a different hunger in that type of client than just your average Joe Schmo. All right. They desire to grow. They spend a lot of time reflecting on their goals, their life, how they want their health to be. They also take initiative. So they start taking proactive steps towards changing. It could be their diet. It could be, their lifestyle, whatever they're doing to cause their body to be off balance. They're doing research. Let's say they may have already gathered their blood work and all this other stuff, and they're already trying to determine the imbalances in the body. They may come to you and be like, hey, I already went and got my mineral test. And so that way you can look at and read it and determine, okay, I'm low in vitamin D. I'm low in this and that. I already got some stuff. I started on that process. All right. The other thing is that they embrace the challenges. They understand that change, it's ups and downs with that. It's ups and downs. Another thing, how you know they're ready is that they're open-minded. So they become more open to new ideas, new protocols, new perspectives, new possibilities. They're open to hear what you have to say. They're open to research it. They're like, hey, I will listen. I will read it. I will go and check it out. And they do, not just talking. All right. The other thing is that they are excited. You know what I mean? Somebody can come to you and let's say their issue is weight. And they could be 500 pounds, but when they come to you, they are so excited. They are so ready. They're like, I'm tired of this. I'm ready for a change. Let's go. I mean, that type of energy it's infectious. And so they are very enthusiastic about the potential of where they can be and how they can change. These are the type of clients that herbalists dream of, right? Not only because they're educated, right? They've educated themselves, even if it's just a little bit. They did a little research. I always love to hear clients. I was doing some research, and I love that. Research. I cannot stress that enough. Research. I love to hear that. All right. They've accepted their part in their, I don't want to say demise, but they've accepted their part in their health and the current state of their health. Right? And they're ready to make change by any means necessary. Now, these type of clients, they'll ask you tons of questions, so be ready for that. And, they will complete some of the research on their own, but they will be 100% fully invested in their journey. Now, if you have an ego problem, like you just need to be the head of and lead in and do what I say because I said so type of herbalist, which I hope that you're not. Okay. These clients probably aren't the ones for you because your ego is going to get in the way. They may come to you and say, hey, I've researched this and I feel like this might be a better fit. And if your ego is in the way, you're going to be like, well, no, I'm the herbalist. I have my certification. I've been studying for over 15 years, so I know what's best for you. Right? So if you have an ego, I don't know, you might want to leave these clients alone because they might ruffle your feathers. They might ruffle your feathers, But these clients are definitely a blessing. Because you learn from them as well. Because they research, they go, they get information, and they trust you. And you know that. You know what I mean? They trust what you have to say. They trust the information that you give them. Because they know, like, wow, you're making me a part of this process. Like, I'm in control of this. You're just facilitating. And that's what I say. We are facilitators. We don't take control of anything. This is information. You're making the decisions. You're cutting back on things. You're changing your lifestyle, your mental health and all that. You're doing the work. I'm just facilitating the process based on the knowledge that I've gained over the years, the research that I've done, the studying that I've done, as well as the knowledge the Most High has given me. So it's a blessing to be a part of people's healing journey. And it's not to be squandered. It's not to be taken lightly, nor taking advantage of people. Okay, I had got on my side note. So, in closing, as herbalists, we will meet a variety of people along our journey. Some that we can help and others that we can't. But it's okay. Just remember that everyone is on their own journey, and for some that might include a few detours along the way. In the meantime, focus on those that are ready for change and willing to do the work required. Don't forget self-care and to rest to recharge your batteries. And if you like what you heard, don't forget to stay tuned for more informative podcasts on Spotify and YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on all social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. And if you were looking for some herbal products to address your health needs, head on over to my website at thedemystifiedherbalist.square.site. And until next time, family, I'm out.